Well, the question of can people change, I think of course the answer is yes. We all know people who have, despite our discussion of the habitual nature of humans raised in an earlier segment. But given that proportion of human habituality, the related question is people can change, but will they? What's the probability that people will change if you as a leader or you as an instigator of change are trying to encourage that? There are many reasons why people resist change. Their habits, they're comfortable in their current set of habitual routines and they don't want to change. Maybe they're waiting for someone else to create something that they've never seen before. Sometimes it's the logical models that they have in their minds is not convincing. And sometimes it's because people have too many cries of the sky is falling or the wolf is in the sheep's herd. People who say, look here, look there, and it doesn't happen, and so people become skeptical or apathetic. Maybe people don't change because they don't see a value or a benefit to it. You may or may not have had experiences with your computer systems, for example, where you're encouraged to upgrade to a new system. You upgrade to the new system and you realize that it's more difficult to do the things that you had been doing with the way that the new systems have been redesigned. So change may or may not be better than it was traditionally, and hence we have Emerson's dichotomy of people who want to maintain the status quo and other people who want to push forward and make changes. So on average, I wonder where you are. You may or may not be on any particular element in the past or the future. But on the whole, are you a person who tends to like to keep things the way they are? Or are you a person who likes to move ahead, try new things, explore? Remember the hats that we talked about in our first segment. So sometimes people won't change because they don't see a role for them. They don't have any particular reason to be engaged and no one has given them one. So when people are asked to change, when a leader comes in and says, we'd like you to do something different, they tend to ask some questions. What do you want me to do? Why do you want me to do that? Which comes back to the importance, I think, of leadership being able to clarify a charter. Am I able to do what you asked me to do? And what's the benefit for me? If as a change designer or a change leader, you can answer those 4 questions, or regarding number 3, provide the training so that it can be done. And again, then we come back to the organization as a learning system or not, whether or not you're hiring people who want to learn or whether that's even on your criteria list. If you've hired people who don't want to learn, then trying to get them to adapt to a new way of doing things is going to be very difficult and your culture will be staid and traditional. So people resist change. You may have in your organization people who are resisting doing things that you want them to do. And you might ask yourself, well, why won't they do what I ask them to do? Well, let me ask you the parallel question. Does your boss want you to do things that you are not doing? In other words, if you turn the tables and you say, well, my people won't do what I want them to do, then we could ask, well, are you doing what your boss wants you to do? And the question would be why? And maybe it's because you don't see the value in it, you think it's the wrong thing, you think it's bad for the business. There are a number of reasons why you might be resistant, but maybe this will help you to be a little more sympathetic and understanding if your people aren't doing what you want them to do.